Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. My name is Ali and I teach you how to create business value using data. If this is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe and stay up to date on my videos, and let's learn together. When you're working in Power BI, there are a lot of formatting options and recurring actions that you might be doing to make your reports look great. Today, I'm going to share a couple of tips for making your reports look great that will help you save a lot of time. So what we have here is a report, a very basic report. We have a couple of KPIs, we have a line chart, a bar chart, a slicer, and I've added a text box on top, which I usually do on my reports because I think that's nice. And like I said, I want to look at formatting and how we can make this look a little bit nicer with some techniques that I like to use that makes it go fairly fast. So if you see here, the first thing that I want to do is I want to just make sure that things are aligned, same lines, and it kind of has like a nice, it just gives it a much nicer look and feel than if it is a little bit here and there. And the first thing that I like to do is I like to turn on the background on the actual page. So if you go to visualizations, you can see now when you click and you go to the format your report page, there is this option to change the background on the entire page. And usually I'll set it to gray, and then I'll set transparency to 50%. And right away when I do that, you see now the boxes, because they all have white backgrounds, you kind of get like a nice grid around here, but it's just not aligned now. So the first thing that I think is great, for making a report look great and quickly, is just to give it almost like a border and a grid feel, is to turn on the background. So that's the first thing. The second thing is a tip to make it easy to align things the same way. If I drag this one now up there, you can see there's this red kind of net that shows up. And this is good, this is fine. You can use this to make sure that things are next to each other and in the same places, same height, same width, all of those things. But if you go to view, you can turn on this thing called grid lines. So now you can see there's this small dotted grid lines that just showed up. And if you also turn on snap to grid, now you'll see that when I drag things around, it will have like a snapping feel. So it's really easy to make everything be on the same lines. And you'll see, I'll do it quickly now. And then when I turn off the grid lines, then you can see you'll have like a nice gray grid around everything. So if I drag this one up there, and I can just take on my mouse or sorry, on my keyboard, one button down on the down button, then you can see now it goes down exactly one certain length. And then I can drag this one next to it. I can take one to the right. And now all I have to do is just drag things together, and you'll see that it'll give it like a nice grid feel. And this goes a lot faster than trying to do it with your mouse, trying to do it by eyeballing it. So if you do like that, so now you can see when I turn off grid lines and snap to grid, all the elements are aligned, totally the same way, same distance, and it gives like a nice grid feel around the object. And it goes really quick also. It doesn't take a lot of time when you get used to this. So the first thing is just, decide on a background, which gives you like a nice outline of the different elements. You can also use borders. I prefer this way because I think it looks really nice and clean. Some people like to put on borders, that's also possible, but I like to use the background and the background on the elements and the background on the actual page to kind of create like a nice even grid around all the objects. Another thing that I wanted to touch on is this feature right here, which is the format painter. And I think that's really useful if you want to take formatting from one object to another, and I use this all the time. So let's say I have this object and I turn on data labels and I change some other things. Maybe I will, on the columns, maybe I'll change the default color to something else. And then on the data labels, you'll see that I can set the display unit to none. And now let's say I like this, I like what I've done, I want to quickly apply it to something else. You can take the format painter, and if you've used other Office products, you know how this works. Then you can apply this to another object. Then you can see that some of the formatting follows across. Unfortunately, not not all. It depends actually a little bit on what type of object it is that you're taking it from and to. This time it took the labels. Also, if you had some formatting on the titles, it would have taken that, but it did not take the actual line and made that different. If I change now to a bar chart or a chart which has one of the bar chart types, then you can see it took a lot more. It is worth pointing out it does not take with the labels. So there are some things that comes with, some things that does not come with. But it still is a lot faster, and once again, that consistency in report development formatting is something that you can use the format painter to, if that is something that's important for you. And it's for sure better than going into different objects and clicking your way through. The last one, and one that I feel like a lot of people don't really take advantage of, is this one. If you go to view, you have all these different themes. And I think this is one of the things that you want to maybe do. The first, when you start to develop a report, is to kind of maybe go through and see if you find a theme that you like. And let's say that you like this one, or I like the ones that has less bold text. So the one we were on, I think that's great. I think classic is the one I use the most. But even if you aren't perfectly happy with that, you should check out this part called Customize Current Theme. Then you can go in and you can change, what are the default colors. If you have a segment, something negative, positive, yellow, if you want to make it to a different red color, a different green color. If you have different elements in your visuals, you can change that. But especially this one, the text. Here you can set the default text for a lot of different things. The title, stuff that you otherwise have to change quite often if you don't have like a default for it. So when I change this now, you can just notice it's going to change in different objects here. We have text on each visual, so that's the font color, tab headers. Just for the sake of it, we can set it to 10. If I click apply, you can see now it applied that to both elements. And I think that's also a really useful way of formatting a lot faster. By maybe making your own theme, you can save it, and you save that, and then you can load it when you make a new report and you have the same theme, the same look and feel. And it just makes that formatting part go a lot faster in Power BI. Those are some of my formatting tips. I hope you learned something new. Check the description for the link to the Power BI file if you want to take a closer look. And if you want to learn more, then check out some of the other videos that you should be able to see on your screen right now.